Hello everyone, I'm Sandie La Nae. Welcome to Psychic Creations. We have an exciting show for you today. And I've got my cheat sheets here because, I can't memorize anything. Now, as you know, I am an intuitive who uses stones to give intuitive readings. Well, being an intuitive, in case you didn't get that the first time, it has led me to meet and become friends with other people that are in the metaphysical fields, such as readers, holistic energy healers, and people who, with their skills and their talents and their expertise, help others to tap into their own abilities for their intuitive abilities or their healing energies. Such as this wonderful lady that is sitting right next to me. I would like to introduce you to the founder and primary instructor of the Heart to Heart School in Minden, Nevada. Please welcome Dr. Susan Berry. Hi.
Thank you, Sandy. I'm really glad to be here with you today.
Oh, it's an honor to have you as our guest. I love this. This is great. Good, awesome people she is. All right, now, if you don't mind, I'd like to ask you a few questions so our viewers can get to know Susan and your Heart to Heart School.
Absolutely.
Cool. All right, I'm so happy you're here. This is just fun. Okay. Now, your title is Dr. Susan Berry. What is your field that your degree is in?
I'm a chiropractor. I've been in chiropractic for close to 25 years, and I'm still working as a chiropractor at the same time that I'm doing the school.
Oh, do you have enough time to sleep and eat?
I work a lot.
Yeah, I guess so. And where is your chiropractic services?
So the chiropractic office is the same place where the school is. It's in Minden. Mm-hmm. It's in what they call the Tudor building, which is directly across the street from Saletti's Restaurant, 1624 Highway 395. There is one room now, so we have one classroom space. Mm-hmm. Eventually we'll probably move to a bigger space, but I teach typically 2 to 3 classes a week, and so the one room for right now is enough.
Mm-hmm. Oh, nice. Well, that's awesome. And people can get a hold of you for your chiropractic services, Yellow Pages, or are you in the Yellow Pages, or
we have a website. We have a website for the chiropractic.
Okay.
It's www.barry.chiropractic.com. And so there is a website. Mm-hmm. Yes, we are also in the phone books and all of those kinds of places for people who still use phone books. Mostly people Google.
Right, that's true.
So yeah, you can find me that way too.
Okay, oh, awesome. Well, I think this is really exciting. You are a Reiki master.
I am.
Can you tell our viewers just what Reiki is and how it works?
So Reiki is a way of channeling healing energy. It's like in the Bible where they talk about a laying on of hands. It is the most well-known energy healing that's around, at least in America. It is worldwide. It's been around in the Western world since the mid-60s to early 70s. Oh. And I have taught probably anywhere from 80 to 100 people how to do Reiki over the years.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Reiki master just means teacher. That's all master means, is that you're a teacher.
Well, I think that's a pretty good term.
Yes.
And are there certain steps to becoming a Reiki master?
There are. There's 3 levels of Reiki. The first one is the class that people take. When you've taken Reiki 1, you can channel healing energy to yourself, other people, animals, plants, medicine, food, anything you want to.
Oh.
So all you really need to be able to do Reiki, to treat with Reiki, is take Reiki 1. Reiki 2 is for people who want to have a deeper relationship with Reiki. You learn 3 symbols. You learn how to send Reiki energy distances of time and space. So, like, I could send Reiki from here to San Francisco, or I could send Reiki back to my childhood to help heal my childhood.
Oh, isn't that
That's
interesting?
the first symbol. The second symbol increases the power so that it's a little stronger. And then the third symbol allows you to access the emotions a little bit more directly. So Reiki 1 is mostly about physical healing, and Reiki 2 you learn more about helping people with emotional issues. Reiki 3, I teach as a year-long program. So anybody who does Reiki 3 with me, which is about learning how to teach, is with me for a full year. And we do 3 meetings a month for a year. It's a huge commitment.
Oh, it is.
And then once you have done Reiki Master, you can also teach.
Isn't that amazing? Oh, that is just thrilling, I think. Oh.
It's very powerful stuff. It's something that I really believe the world needs more of right now.
Sure. Well, I have to agree with you on that, Susan. I really do. Now, according to your bio that I read, you are an intuitive and you have natural empathic talents. Do you give readings yourself?
I do occasionally. It's funny. I don't have a whole lot of time for it.
Yeah, well, I can see why.
Mostly I teach other people. My personal tool of choice is tarot cards.
Okay.
And I do tarot readings occasionally. There was a time in my life when I was ill. I was in practice as a chiropractor for 10 years. I was out of practice for 7 years because I had my own health challenges. And when I came back to practice about 6 years ago, I decided that I needed to share the things that I learned that allowed me to get well. And during the time that I was out of practice, I was actually reading tarot cards on a 900 phone line nationally.
Oh, okay.
So I've done that.
Sure.
I don't do it so much anymore.
Right. Well, like you said, you don't have much time.
I don't have much time.
Oh, cool.
I am familiar with and fairly competent at I Ching, runes, pendulum, kinesiology, psychokinesis. Yeah, a lot of that stuff.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Yeah.
Multi-talented. That is so cool. I like that. I like that. Well, now, my daughter has empathic abilities, and sometimes she just has a tough time with dealing with those keen emotions.
Yes.
Can you teach, or do you teach other empaths how to channel their energies or protect themselves?
Every single energy healing class, energy intuition class, any single class that we do with energy, I teach the 3 basics. I teach centering, grounding, and energy protection, and it's in every single one of my classes. Because I also had that challenge. As a natural empath, you feel everybody around you. You know often what they're thinking, but certainly what they are feeling. A lot of empaths are kinesthetic, which means that they actually feel other people's pain in their bodies. And so I absolutely think that that's a huge part of what we teach at the school, is how to not have that impact your life in a negative way. One of my soapbox issues is that I really think that culturally we do people a disservice. People like you and me and your daughter are told that either they're crazy and imagining things or that it's not real. And so if you have these natural gifts and talents, then what do? Because culturally we're taught that they don't exist. But it exists for you. It happens for you. And it's part of why I started the school. Mine was a fairly rocky path, getting to where I'm comfortable with who I am and where I'm not feeling like I'm strange and odd and those kinds of things. I'm unique. I'm unique.
Yes,
So part of why I started the school, started teaching the classes, is so that other people know they're not alone. And so that
Good
other
for you.
people have an opportunity to learn how to work with their gifts more quickly and easily. It probably took me 35 years of study, research, finding my own answers, having some mentoring, but mostly finding it on my own. And I love when young people come and start taking my classes, and it won't be as challenging for them.
Good for you. Because I was like you, it was just all tripping over my own feet.
Yep.
So, well, kudos to you, Susan.
Thank you.
I think that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Now, were you born with your intuitive gifts, or did you discover them and then learn about them?
I was born with them. I shut them down somewhere about age 5 or 6 because, again, my family did not understand it. I don't think that they did damage on purpose, but
Right.
I had contact with a spirit guide who is actually back in my life at this point. My mother used to say that I was talking to my imaginary friend, my imaginary playmate. And so I believed her. And if he was imaginary and he wasn't real, then I just shut all that off. That lasted from about 5 or 6 until I was in my mid-20s and I was in chiropractic school. And as soon as I put my hands on people, there was no way to keep the information out anymore. And so I would have all these weird flashes and all of this, and that was when I started on my path. I think I was 27. So when I started on my path to try to rediscover this stuff, because if I was to touch people, there was no way to keep the information out, so I had to learn what to do with it.
Sure. Oh, sure.
And because, I didn't just run around touching strangers
Right.
normally.
Right.
I mean, it was not a problem until I got into chiropractic school.
Sure. I can understand that. Well, how fun is that? Well, did you have to learn your other abilities, or, well, I should say learn of them in your journey?
Yes. I believe that I am very intuitive now. I do fairly well, not perfectly, but fairly well at listening to my higher self, those messages for what's right for me. Being here on this show, this is right for me. Being my authentic self and not being afraid to, have people know that I do these things, that's right for me. It took me a long time to learn to listen to that voice. So yes, I had to really learn about that. But I'm pretty good at it now.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, good for you. It's a learning process, it really is, about, well, just your inner self.
But I also believe that absolutely everybody has these abilities. The analogy that I use is that I'm not an artist. I could draw a picture, and you would probably even know what it was a picture of, but I'm not a natural artist. I am a natural intuitive. I am a natural empath. So every single person has intuitive skills, and they could learn them, and many people do come to the classes who aren't very strongly empathic or intuitive, but they can learn the skills. Just like if I take a bunch of classes, I can learn to paint, I can learn to draw. It will still never be natural to me, but I can learn how to do that. And that's how I feel about the things that are natural to me, the healing, the channeling energy, the being intuitive, the being empathic. I think that is a gift that I have, just like you have a gift. But other people can learn. And I think the more you learn about it, the easier it is to be in the world, because you listen to that knowing voice inside of you that has all the answers.
I agree. I agree. Applause to you. I love that. I love that answer. Wow. Well, okay. Now to the Heart to Heart School. Can you tell our viewers about what this learning center is?
I've been teaching these classes for about 8 years. I said that I was sick, and when I came back into chiropractic, and I started talking about what I had done to get well. And I honestly don't remember exactly how it happened, but somehow that morphed into me starting to teach these classes. And I've actually been teaching for several years. I have a wonderful support system of friends who really wanted me to take it bigger. I did absolutely no advertising. There was no website. It was virtually word of mouth for the first 7 or 8 years. And I still had people coming to my classes. I would have 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 people in my classes. And about 2 to 3 years ago, I had some friends who said, yeah, you need to start a school. And I resisted. I make a living as a chiropractor. This is fine. I just kind of do this on the side. And it just wouldn't go away. I couldn't let go of it.
Sure.
And about a year ago now, maybe a little longer, I decided that I was going to do this. I have turned it into a nonprofit. So the Heart to Heart School is a nonprofit. And the reason for that is because our classes are relatively inexpensive. They are not free. We have to cover our overhead. We have to cover our expenses. And so part of why we turned it into a nonprofit is I want to reach more people. I want more people to know about this stuff.
Sure.
And we keep the costs as low as we can. Eventually, I hope in a couple of years we'll start to have some scholarships as well, so that there will be some free classes.
Oh, that would be nice.
A year, 2 years tops, we'll actually have some scholarships where people can come and take the classes at no charge.
That is awesome. Well, awesome. Well, now, when did the Heart to Heart School actually open?
We started turning it into the nonprofit corporation. We got our nonprofit status in July of last year.
Oh.
The first official classes started in January, the first week in January. So we've been in existence for about 4 months.
Oh, awesome.
I'm really, really pleased to say that every single class has had some students. I'm certainly reaching for more.
Sure.
But like I said, I teach about 2 or 3 classes a week, and we actually have it set up in a school-type schedule. So there's a 5-month spring, early summer semester.
Oh,
and then there's a month off in the summer, and we're actually kind of in our month off in the summer right now. And then there will be another fall-winter semester with the same classes repeated over again.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there are actually 2 semesters.
Okay. Oh, awesome.
We are not yet, we do not yet
like
have our
it.
501c3 status.
Oh, okay.
We are pending for that.
Oh, good.
Because you have to fill out the application and then you have to wait.
Sure. Hurry up and wait.
Yes. Yes.
I know all about that. Well, great. Well, now, what type of classes do you offer in the school?
Right now, we're offering intuitive development. There are actually 3 certification programs. Reiki is one of the certification programs, and you can be certified in either Reiki 1, 2, or 3. So there are actual separate certifications. There is also an intuitive development certification that has about 6 or 8 classes in it, and then there is an energy healing certification that also has a series of classes in it. Any of the classes can be taken alone, or they can be taken as a certification. In the energy healing classes, there is intuitive development. There is the Reiki 1 is part of the energy healing. The spiritual journey of healing, the meditation class is part of the energy healing. In the intuitive development, there are some of the same ones. The intuitive development class being the biggest. There is auras and chakras. I teach about auras and chakras. And
Ooh, I like that.
there will also be intermediate and advanced classes. This year, most of the classes are beginning.
Okay, sure. Mhm.
And then as we move forward, there will be more intermediate and advanced classes.
Oh my gosh, this is wonderful. The dreams that you have.
I do.
Your goals and aims.
I do.
This is just wonderful. This is wonderful, isn't it? You're wonderful.
For right now, we're teaching mostly on site. Eventually, we will have people Skyping into classes as well. I've actually had a couple of students Skype into classes, so that it is actually my goal to eventually, right now, we're trying to reach people in Northern Nevada. I would like to eventually to spread that out and reach more people.
Well, that's incredible. That's wonderful. Good luck to you with that.
Thank you.
Oh, I know your school's going to grow. I have connections. All right. Now, let's see. You talked about the certificates giving at some of your classes. Do you have like a certificate or document or diploma to give to all of your students per
With
class?
the individual classes, we don't.
Okay.
With the individual Reiki classes, we do, or with the series of classes that are the certifications
Sure.
have a certification.
Now, is that kind of, this is really a dumb question, but is that kind of like board certified?
There is no overseeing board for this type of thing.
Okay.
We are a membership of the American Holistic Health Association. We are a membership of some of the energy healing kinds of groups. But this is so new that there is no certification for the
Sure.
school. So
Yeah.
there may be, yes, there may be eventually.
Well, that is wonderful. Now, you said Reiki, that can take up to a year. Is that like your longest running program?
It is.
The class?
It is. Any of the other certifications can be done in a few months, and if you take the classes consecutively. Reiki 1 is a weekend class. I mean, it is a single weekend class. It's about 14 hours. Reiki 2 is about 14 hours. It's a weekend class. The one that is the longest is the Reiki Master, and that is a year-long process.
Isn't that wonderful? I think that is just cool. Now, well, how long have you been teaching? I think you explained that somewhere up here. But how long have you been teaching, just yourself teaching?
I've been teaching the classes about 7 or 8 years. Different classes a little bit longer. I started about 8 years ago.
I see, sure, okay. And at the Heart to Heart School, and then on your own with
I
your
was
own
doing it
class?
on my own. It was just a little side business that I had. For the Heart to Heart School, I mean, again, it's only been in existence for a few months. So,
Well, and all by yourself.
yes.
Goodness sakes.
I am currently mentoring 3 or 4 people to take over some of the beginning classes.
Oh, okay.
So that next year I can offer more classes.
Sure.
So if I have somebody take over the beginning classes, then I can move on to more of the intermediate and advanced classes. I have actually taught, there are 18 classes on our schedule. In the last 8 years, I've taught about 40 different classes.
Goodness sakes.
I like to teach.
I guess you do. And you have a chiropractic service.
I do.
And do you have time to sleep?
I work a lot.
I think you do. Well, this is really cool. Now, I like all your classes, but can you explain to our viewers something that I'm just really, really liking, the quantum physics?
Yes.
I mean, do you have, can you say
So
that
I
briefly?
come from a science background. And when I first started becoming aware that this was going to be a part of my life, it made me uncomfortable because in chiropractic, it's very mechanical. this bone moves this direction and this muscle behaves that way, and it's very structural. It's very physical. And so when I started doing things with energy, I personally needed to know that there was some reality to that. And so I started to study some of the quantum physics, which is basically the physics of energy and space and time. And what I discovered, what I know to be true, is that when you look at smaller and smaller things, when they take an electron microscope and they look at all those teeny little micro things of the nanoparticles, they call them, when you go smaller and smaller and smaller, eventually there is no longer anything physical. It's all energy. And science teaches us this. So I'm looking at my class is called Quantum Physics and the Metaphysical World. And I'm looking at where spirituality or metaphysics and science are starting to meet. They're starting to say the same thing. And I think, like I was talking about earlier, I think that culturally we have such a loss because we don't have that spiritual connection, that energy connection. And if you look at what science is currently doing, they're saying the same thing that metaphysicians have been saying for years. And just because of the background that I come out of, and because I did come out of chiropractic, it was important to me to know that stuff. And so now I'm starting to teach it. I'm not a physicist. I'm really not. However, I really think that I can take some of those difficult, challenging concepts and make them understandable for people.
Sure. I think so too. Oh, that's wonderful. I love that. I just love that. Well, now, according to your brochure, it's got a really cool brochure here, you have other courses that you would like to add to your agenda, such as astro travel.
Yes.
And I Ching, vortexes, ley lines, journaling, numerology, past lives, and labyrinth.
Yes. I've actually taught all of those classes already.
Have you?
Yes.
This is just amazing, your agenda.
So people know about vortexes because of the vortexes down south. The truth of the matter is there are vortexes everywhere. Lake Tahoe is a vortex. Pyramid Lake is a vortex. You know that weird energy that people feel in Pyramid Lake? That's because it's a vortex. And so there are indrawing and outpouring vortexes. Lake Tahoe is an outpouring vortex. People like it there and love to go there, and isn't that fun? Pyramid Lake is an indrawing vortex, which tends to bring in energy that's more meditative and more quiet. And people find it a bit disturbing sometimes because it's an indrawing vortex, not an outpouring vortex. And so that's the kind of stuff that we talk about in the vortexes and ley lines class.
That is awesome because I love Lake Tahoe. I feel so good when I'm there, which happens to be in western Nevada and eastern California. And Pyramid Lake is north of Reno here in Nevada. And I've been to Pyramid Lake too, where it's like, oh, get me out of here. It's a very
different energy.
Very different. Well, this is fun. Oh my gosh, all these.
And eventually probably all of those classes will be added to the schedule. But I don't have time to do them all now.
Well, I was going to say, you're going to have to split yourself into 5 or 6 different people.
When I was teaching before, during the 8 years that I've been teaching, I would teach about 1 class a month. And so I had a list of classes, and they would only come around every 2 or 3 years, which is part of how I ended up with the school, is because people would say, but I want that journaling class, or I want that. And so we have them coming more frequently now.
Sure. Oh, this is just wonderful. Wonderful. Well, now, I think you already discussed this, but I'm going to ask you again, is now once a student has completed one of your courses, are you going to maybe have them become a teacher at your school?
I have several people that I'm working with who have taken many of my classes, who I am actually working with to become teachers at the school. So yes, that is a possibility. That's the only way that we're going to be able to expand.
Sure.
Because you can't really go to UNR and learn these things.
Right.
I also have one person in particular who just isn't a natural like I am, like you are, and comes with her own, I don't know, set of skills, I guess you would say.
Right.
So there will be additional teachers.
Oh, this is awesome. Okay. Well, in the future too, outside of your students, Would you happen to hire a different metaphysician if they were
Next
willing
year,
to?
I don't think it's going to happen this year. Like I said, we're about 5 or 6 months into the year. Next year, it is our goal to bring in outside teachers and events and those kinds of things, like you with your reading of your stones. Absolutely. And so there will be the core classes that our faculty teaches, and then there will be outside events and outside visiting teachers as well. Probably not until next year, but absolutely, it's on the agenda.
Well, sign me up.
Okay.
Okay.
I will.
I would love to teach at your wonderful school. Well, all righty. Can you give our viewers your contact information again?
Absolutely. The website for the Heart to Heart School is www.heart, H-E-A-R-T, number 2, H-E-A-R-T, school, SCHOOL.net. Phone number is 782-4541. We do have people coming in from Carson and Reno to take classes, but we are actually located in Minden, and so the address is 1624 Highway 395 North in Minden, directly along the main highway.
That's great. And do you have brochures online and at your office where people
At the website, all of the class schedule is on there. You can contact the school via the website.
Okay.
So yes, the classes that are listed in that brochure are all on the website.
This is awesome. This is awesome. Thank you very much, Susan. You are a fascinating person. I can't wait to get to know you even more.
Thank you.
That is awesome. Thank you for being a guest on our show today.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited. That's cool. Very cool. All right. Well, now if you would like to have a psychic stone reading with me, and or now what I'm offering too is a spirit reading, which is a reading that I give. A lot of my clientele is asking. I have an ability where I see those that are deceased, and so I call it a spirit reading, and people come on in to talk with their relatives. It's actually a lot of fun. It really is. You can get a hold of me at my website, which is Sandie Psychic Stones, and that's www.sandiespsychicstones.com, SANDIES. Gotta spell it a little bit differently. All right. Thank you for watching Psychic Creations, and we'll see you next show.